Judge Judy jealous, basically. You know, I can read people's intentions really, really well at this point. And when I was married to my ex-wife, my first clue that she wasn't in our reality was there was no rhyme or reason to reading her attention. And so when she would say I'm a perfectly decent guy one day and then change literally within the next sentence to me being basically the worst guy who ever lived, I learned to say, okay, look, I can't hitch my wagon to either one of those sentiments. Mm-hmm. You talk about forgiveness. Actually, she ended up divorcing me. In my mind, because I didn't believe in divorce, I would have sacrificed personal happiness and perhaps personal safety to keep my family together and not have my daughter be from a broken home. But I've also forgiven myself because I did what I could and she still left. And like I said, I also made the conscious decision where I can't harbor resentment because she's got an illness. And you bring up an interesting point, because even if she was just, you know, even if she'd never been diagnosed with an illness that I could hang my hat on and say, okay, well, there's the reason I can forgive her, I probably still should have and would have found a reason to forgive her. And that all harkens back to what we talked about right at the outset, Frank, which is you can't take the opinion of one person. You can't take how one person is and build and throw a blanket over that as pertaining to the entire gender. It can't be done. You can't do that for your own self-preservation. But see, having been worn down through this marriage for 7 years, I started believing I wasn't a very good guy. It's like Chinese water torture. And I started thinking, wow, you know, because I'm looking around saying, okay, some guys got it worse than I do, it was my own protection mechanism psychologically to say, okay, she's not that bad. Other guys must have women just like her in private. So how I was insulating myself and insulating my emotions and my feelings to buck up and be a man in that relationship, even though she was wearing me down, you know. Once the divorce finally happened, and by the way, she put as her reason for divorce, she said it was the cumulative effect of all the small things he did to me and was going to do to me. So even in the midst of her pain, she was, because she was literally deciding that I was doing things that it was like being falsely accused of things you never did and going to jail for it day after day after day. You know, you come home with $100 worth of groceries after 40 minutes, and I must have been sleeping with my girlfriend. And there's no changing her mind. She's got this firmly held belief in the impossible. That's what daily life was like. Well, she did not ever forgive me for anything. Symptom. You get into a minor argument. She brings up something that happened 3 years ago in her mind that she's never brought up before. It's just been simmering in there for 3 years, and she played that card when she felt it was time. So long ago in most cases that I don't even remember the situation. I'm not even sure if there were mythical invented in her mind or whether something really, really precipitated the feeling and she's just been harboring it. But that is a clear sign of zero forgiveness. And I said, okay, well, I'm not going to believe that all women are terrible. Now, I've got other women in my life in various other roles I know aren't crazy. Being crazy is not a female trait. And I'm going to make a conscious decision to believe that there are women out there who are emotionally stable. I'm just going to do it. Because there's no other option. Granted, when I first got divorced, I dealt with all the things that recently divorced guys do. Like, the first time you go out on a date, you're sure you're cheating on your wife. It just feels so bizarre. You shouldn't be dating. That was never supposed to happen again. Well, I ended up, because I believe that crazy was sort of a norm, I started seeking out women that I was comfortable with who all turned out being on vitamin P or Xanax or something like that and being emotionally unstable. Some people may say, well, yeah, that's the law of attraction. I think it was male leadership. I think women follow your leadership, and when you expect them to act out like that, you'll not only draw those women who say, okay, this guy's going to expect me to act out and I'm going to feel safe in this environment. See, it's kind of this warped vision of here's a guy who makes me feel safe. I started attracting woman after woman, like clockwork, who was just really not stable. I don't want to say stark raving nuts, but that's what wants to fall out of my mouth. As soon as I said, wait, this really is, what's crazy about this is I'm letting it go on. And I reminded myself, I said, women are not nuts. There are stable women out there, and from now on I'm going to make a conscious decision to realize that and only stick to my guns and pre-evaluate women from a perspective of, is she going to be someone I can get along with and who's going to be reasonable. And I kid you not, Frank, out of the next 100 women I dated, I think one of them was on an antidepressant. One.
So you made a conscious effort to date a healthier type of woman.
Yes. I put it on my list of criteria, and I lived by it. And I made that list of criteria before I started dating, so I didn't let my judgment get clouded after I'd already met someone who I thought was hot.
Got a question for you here. Did you at any time look to yourself and say, you know what, yeah, I've dated all these crazy women, but there was one common element in every single one of those relationships, and that was you?
Yes, absolutely.
And when you came to that realization, what was that the motivating factor for you to say, I'm never going to allow myself to do this again? Or did you beat yourself up for it?
Oh, I don't think I beat myself up for it. I think I made the change. I calibrated. Here's an amazing thing. I think guys here, women respond to leadership. But I've almost made it my number one soapbox lately because it's so powerful. Women respond to leadership from you in ways you don't even ever guess. And it is so powerful. You can go and be out in public. Let's say you go to the store. You see a woman with a bag of groceries. And for some reason, I guess the automatic door's down and she's got to open a door, right? If you say to that woman, hey, is it okay if I get the door for you? Would you like for me to get the door for you? She might go, no, I got it, right? And you're going to go, okay, well, liberated woman. If you say to that woman, stop, let me get the door for you, she'll stop and look at you and wait for you to get the door.
Yep.
Now, are you a controlling jerk? No, you're leading. A guy asked me, I've got this new opener I want to go use on cold approaches. What do you think of it? I didn't get past the first line. The first line of the cold approach that he was building was, I'm sorry for bothering you, bud. The first thing the woman's going to say, because you've led her to believe it, is, yeah, you are bothering me. That's the subtlety of it. If you say to a woman, I only deal with women, if you say to yourself, I only deal with women who are emotionally stable, and you look at that woman and you're expecting emotional stability from her, I don't know if you can make an emotionally unstable woman stable, but you sure can make sure that they get the message and know where they're not going to be able to work their craft. Meanwhile, it's almost like when you get online and you say to a woman, hey, you know what, I need a couple more pictures from you, and she goes, okay, here's a couple more pictures. That's a good sign because, she's not ashamed of how she looks and she's representing herself perfectly well. So why would she argue it? Meanwhile, if the woman goes, oh, I don't know, I think you're being kind of shallow. Don't you think you should just meet me and see what's in my heart? She probably is ashamed of how she looks and she may disappoint you in real life. And I, for one, believe that it's perfectly okay for a man to want a woman who looks good to himself. There's no shame in that. That's how we're wired. If you say, like in an online profile, look, I really want a woman who's got it together. I don't want to play games, which of course is what everybody says. So you have to come up with something better than that, which is, I want a woman who is emotionally stable. You can even say that in your profile. And these women know when they want to ride a roller coaster. And if they look and go, well, that guy, he's just going to break up with me, they'll actually stay away. Whereas, shockingly, women who are stable are also fed up with mentally unstable women. They deal with them at work. They may have a few in their family.